Hey, and welcome to the 2022 annual review of Flux. This is a tradition that I've started back when I was freelancing, sharing how much money I've made each year. And I want to share with you all the numbers and all the failures and learnings that we had this year. And boy, oh boy, did we have a lot of failures and learnings this year. This has been definitely the toughest year I've had in my business so far, and I'm in business in Flux for like 4 years now, and as a freelancer for over a decade. And so some people think that maybe as you grow and have more experience, things become easier, but my experience has been that it's actually getting tougher. And so I want to share with you what happened this year. Hopefully, maybe you can learn from this and avoid some of the mistakes and assumptions that I had trying to build this business when you're building your business. And maybe you just want to see the nitty-gritty of somebody who's building a business and trying to do this, on the internet transparently. So let's get started with the annual review. Here's what I'm going to cover today. I'm going to start with covering the numbers and results. I know that's probably what you want to see the most. I'm going to start by talking about the struggles and what I learned about them, and then covered what we've also achieved in 2022. Of course, it's not just bad. And then I'll share what we're planning in Flux for the upcoming year. And if you want to ask questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. I'll review this video later and try to answer all of your questions to the best of my ability. All right, so let's start off with the key numbers in the business. So in terms of revenue, we've hit 1.9 million, which is a very tiny growth, like a 5% growth over what we had in 2021. We've had almost 2,000 new students in 2022. Actually, it says 2021, but it's 2022. I just copy and pasted the presentation. So also a slight growth from the previous year, which puts our total students at this point at 8,600. We've grown YouTube in 160,000 new subscribers. So if you're one of those new people, hey, thanks for watching and joining us this year. Okay, so those are kind of like the key metrics, the dry metrics, but what's the story behind them? How did we get here? What worked? What didn't work? So let's talk about the struggles and learning. So first of all, the things that we struggled with. So we didn't manage to grow as fast as I expected. Now you've seen that it was really a tiny growth over last year, 5% growth. But the truth is that if you've been here watching the review of last year, what I did last year was hire a team of managers, like high experienced managers, to help me manage the company. And my assumption was that if I bring great people, and since we turned a profit last year, invest those profits in trying new initiatives and trying new growth strategy, we can grow the company by a lot and have way more students and way more revenue. But that actually didn't pan out that way. Now, some of it is because the things that we did and tried, like running ads or trying all kinds of marketing stuff, didn't work out. But also there are outside factors, like the fact that the world has entered a recession, right? So some of the things that happen in a business, in each business, depend on what you're doing, but other things are actually externals, and they're not your fault, but you still have to adjust to them, and they're still making your life very difficult. So the fact was that we are a bootstrap company, right? We don't have investors' money that we're spending. So we earn money and then we invest our own money in this business. When I say our own, I'm a solo owner of this business. So this is actually my money. So what happened was we turned from a business which was pretty profitable in the previous year into a business that's losing money, right? And so we were lucky enough that I didn't spend all the money that we've made in previous years and took it home and bought a Lambo or something. So we had money in the bank. But what happened was we've become from a profitable company to a company that's losing money. It's spending more money than it's making. Now, initially at the beginning of the year, I was okay with this. I was in kind of like an investing mindset where I said, okay, I'm making big investments, right? I'm hiring really great people. I'm giving them budgets so that they can work with them. And within a few months, we're going to start seeing return on this investment. And I understand things don't happen very quickly. But this mindset of saying I'm willing to lose money in combination with saying, oh my God, there's actually a recession, and now there's a war between Russia and Ukraine, and who knows what's going to happen, all of a sudden kind of made it very, very stressful to, willingly go out and lose money. And so mid-year, we kind of had to change the strategy and say, look, we have to be a profitable business, right? We can't run out of money, because at the end of the day, it's funny, but the winner is the business that stays alive, right? A lot of businesses, they raise money and they try to do amazing things and they have big brands and amazing brands, but then they run out of money and then they close down. So what you really want to do is be able to run your business sustainably for a lot of times and then make improvements as we go along. And so mid-year, we had to make the change of, okay, we're going to have to cut budgets and we have to change, the way that we spend money, and we have to rethink about how we do our salaries and everything, because we have to be profitable. And that was very, very painful and very, very stressful. Throughout the first half of the year, really, I had a very, very stressful half year because I was always worried about cash flow and losing money. And yeah, that was really tough. So during this year, some team members were leaving. A part of it was at the beginning of the year because, I guess, both for personal reasons, but also when you're trying to grow a company and you bring managers and you try to shape the culture of the company, that doesn't always work out for everybody, and that's fair enough. I think as you build a company, you better learn what you expect people, and people understand what's being expected of them, and if it's not a good fit, people have to part ways. But as I've also mentioned, with the fact that we didn't manage to grow the company as fast as we wanted to, and the fact that, again, I told you I've brought in kind of like big, experienced, expensive managers. We basically at the end of the year, around the end of the year, they basically realized, well, okay, so this is probably not the best fit for us to stay in this company, which is, I guess, still rather small and is not as growing as fast as possible. So we had the management team basically stepping down, and that was, again, very, very painful for me because I was spending all of this time trying to, basically I felt like a kid who built this kind of like a tower of bricks, and all of a sudden this whole tower collapses, and I just felt like everything is just crumbling in my hands, and I have to go back like to the beginning and start everything from scratch. And that was, again, very, very painful. I had some very tough weeks where I had to, of course, I was down, I was not motivated. And it took me a little bit of time to kind of pick myself back up again and say, okay, things didn't work out, and I have to try again. I have to try maybe in a different format, but it is what it is, right? But again, this was pretty tough. So here's what I learned from all of these struggles throughout the year. Number one, and this is kind of like a cliche in business, but I think it has to be said, like, cash is king. If you want to stay in the game, you have to make sure that you have cash. You have to make sure that you're making more money than you're spending. This is basic economics for everybody, for your personal life, of course, if you're running a business, but still, a lot of times, and especially if you're like me, if you're motivated to grow and make more and earn more, and you see a lot of people on the internet telling you, oh, if you only do this, this is going to work, or maybe you do this, or you need to invest, or you need to think about long term, and all of these kind of things, that kind of put me in this, like, I'm willing to lose money, I'm willing to invest mindset. But at the end of the day, I have to make sure my responsibility, for the company, for the team members working with me, for our students, if I want to be able to keep serving them for the long term, I have to make sure that we have cash, and that we're making money, and that we're profitable. Otherwise, this business is not sustainable. Now, the next thing, which was kind of like a painful learning, is that we're not a tech company. I was, for a while, thinking that, because we have a digital product, and because, we're selling courses, and because we work online and we work remotely, hey, we're just like those tech companies. And I was very inspired by things that I saw at multiple companies like ConvertKit or Buffer, companies that are doing amazing things in how they are sharing revenue with their team members, in how they are setting up kind of like a minimum of really high salaries, no matter what your role in the company is. So I was really inspired by those stories and by those managers who take these decisions. I said, I want to build an amazing business like this. I think this is, this is a great example of how, capitalism can serve both, the customers and the teams that are building the companies and so forth. And I was really, really inspired by this. And so I tried to implement this within our team, those kind of like principles. But then again, going back to understanding that every business actually has different structure and different margins. And in tech, which is really, for some companies, really scalable and really, really profitable, you can behave or you can set guidelines for the companies that are very different if you think about different businesses. Like if we'll take a restaurant, for example, the margins in this business, just the cost of the products and the labors and everything, it's just a different business. So you can't operate it in the same way. And I was a little bit confused thinking that, I'm a tech company, but actually the way that we serve our customers, right? We have a coaches team who personally answers people questions and review their work and give them and help them out. And the way that we produce content, right, and work with a team of content creators, and so far, it's a different model with different margins, and we have to realize that, okay, this is, now that we understand what our business is, we have to operate responsibly, or again, create structure and culture that fits this specific business. And again, this was painful because I have idolized some of these businesses and thought I want to be just like them, while ignoring the reality that I am not like them, right? And my business is actually different. So one of the things that I guess is so obvious when I say it, that we're a business that's rooted in content, but then for years, I think every year, I managed to kind of delude myself and say, yes, but if we're doing so well on YouTube and organic content, can you imagine if we try to scale using ads or something like this? We can reach so many more people, and we can, help more people, and we can grow, and we can make more money. Every year I fall into this trap of saying, we have to try something else. We have to try something new, right? We're doing well on YouTube, but that's not scalable. Let's try something else. And every year I'm being reminded, and again, this year was kind of like a painful reminder, that stop wasting so much energy and money elsewhere when you have something that's working so well. You know how to create really good content. You know how to do really good YouTube. So keep doing that instead of looking sideways and being distracted by the new kind of like shiny object. The next thing is that, unfortunately, at this point where the company is, we're not big enough to have a management team, right? One of my learnings from 2021 was I'm actually not a good manager, and I don't want to spend my time being manager. So what I did is just hire a great manager and kind of like delegate this to him and say, you manage the company, right? But the company is so small right now that there's not too much to manage, right? We actually need the people who actually do the work, right? Which is basically the content team who are producing YouTube content or courses, and the coaching team who are helping our students. That's the core. That's what we need, people who are doing these things, and not just like managers. We're not at a point yet where we need managers. So that was, again, kind of a learning to remember and focus about what's really important, which is our content and our coaches team. And the great thing, though, is that both of these teams, both the content and the coaching team, have actually grown, have wonderful people in them, and are both doing such a great work. So it was basically just like cleaning everything that is not part of these core areas in the business. That was the core learning here. Okay, so it might have sounded like it's all bad, but we did manage to achieve a bunch of stuff. So first of all, we started the year launching a new branding course, which is taught by me and Rachel and Matt on our team, which was met with really, really great reviews. It already have over 700 students in it who are doing phenomenal branding work. They're also now have a new service to sell along with their web design, and it's turned out to be a really, really wonderful course. We've also updated the Webflow Masterclass. This is already the third iteration of this course, which now has almost, actually more than 5,500 students. So we've updated it with all of the new features. We've made new projects to work alongside, and I think this version is actually so good. I'm really, really proud of it. So this was another big milestone. And we've also launched a new course, which is Core Design Skills, taught by Matt. And this is another great course, basically teaching design fundamentals. And the biggest achievement, at least for me, is that this is the first course from Flux who is completely not like me teaching. We have Matt, who you might know from our YouTube channel, just teaching this course all by himself and getting amazing reviews and making change in the quality of design that people are actually making. So I'm really, really happy about how this project turned out. As I've mentioned, we've invested in our coaches team, and we have new coaches. We have Fungi and Stan and Francesco, who I'm really, I love them. They're amazing people, really helping our students and getting fantastic reviews on, the impact that they're doing on students' life. We have new creators on our team who you might have seen recently on YouTube. We have we have Tim, Maddie, and Gigi. You'll keep seeing them next year, and you might actually see courses from them and programs for them. So I'm really, really excited about the way that the creators team is shaping out. One more big achievement that we have is we've started a Trustpilot account, and it already has 130 reviews. And this is kind of a step in a way of just saying, look, the success and all the stories that we tell about our students are nice, but this is kind of like a third-party platform. Just see for yourself that we're not just talking. This is actually people who are writing raving reviews about us. And I think this is an important milestone for a company to have kind of like a third party validates you that what you're doing is good. So I'm really proud about that as well. And we've managed to double our newsletter, which is now over 140,000 people who are reading my emails weekly and are getting our free resources and stuff like that. If you're not on there yet, you can check out on our website. There's like free resources, and if you download something from there, you'll be on our newsletter, which is really, really good. Okay, so that has been 2022, and let's share some of what's going to happen in Flux in 2023. So the first thing that we're going to work on, and it's already underway, is a program to help you build your portfolio in 7 days. I'm really excited about this. I know how many both experienced and designers earlier on in their journey struggle just to make a portfolio happen. So this is a super, super practical course where we're going to give you stuff to work with, like templates and a Webflow template to work with, and help you make sure that you have a portfolio up in the air in just 7 days so that you can start doing something. You can start accepting clients. You can start selling your service. And I really think this is going to be a really great program. It's already in the process, and I'm really excited about how this is shaping up. The next thing that we're going to launch is a program. It's actually a challenge to find your first client in 30 days. This is something new that we're going to try in terms of format, but I also think it's going to make an impact in so many people's life who just need to take action to make sure that they actually find the client, right? A lot of the tactics, and we have a course, freelancing course, the 6-Figure Freelancer. But that's actually an advanced course for people who want to niche down and start scaling up. But people who are just starting out, they just need an action-oriented program that is going to help them to, again, take action to actually find that first client. And that's what we're going to do for people who are starting off in their freelancing career. Then we're working on a full-on product design course, which is, UX, UI. This is basically different from web design, where you design websites. This is for people who want to understand how to design products, how to design apps, whether those are mobile apps or apps, desktop apps. But this is more, again, product design versus web design. And we're also going to work on updating our web design course, as I've mentioned, and as we've updated our Webflow course to the third iteration. I always believe in pushing our products to the next level. Of course, if you're already enrolled in the web design course, or if you will be enrolling before we update it, the updates are always free to all of our students. So that's obvious to me, and I'm excited about creating the third iteration of this course. And we're probably going to ship a Figma course just because everybody's using Figma these days, and we don't have a Figma course, so that's probably coming next year as well. And I really want to update our website. Our website is over 2 years old, and I really feel like it needs an update. So it's going to happen in 2023, and I'm really excited about that. Also want to make sure that we improve the student experience from what happens after you purchase to how you learn to how you're getting support. This is also something that we will be working on next year. Last year, I tried to make this a live stream to engage live. This year, I couldn't make it live, but I still want to engage in a conversation. So make sure you're leaving comments, and hope to see you with us next year. Cheers and have a wonderful year.